Hi everyone, happy 2023. Jackie Broman here. We are back doing live. So we're back doing Join Jackie on Mondays. We will be posting the topic, um, and today's topic is money to friends or family. So I'm trialing doing the Facebook Live on my laptop rather than using my phone just to see what it's like with functionality, because sometimes the phone gave me some problems. But if you can give me some feedback on whether the audio is okay, um, but otherwise, jumping straight in. So this year we're still going to be doing Join Jackie on Mondays. So if there are topics you want to get a bit of legal information on, please let me know. All these videos get saved onto the page, so please share them around. Or if you have a legal problem and you don't know where to start, our videos tab on our Facebook page is a great place, because you can go in there and search all the previous things that we've done for about the last 3 years. We've been doing a live at least weekly. And so those things you can share with others as well if they're going through something. Now, lending money to friends or family, I thought was a fairly good topic, particularly coming into the new year, because we've all had more time with our friends and family, probably over the Christmas period, and potentially having some leave and holidays. So, under ordinary contract law, when you lend money to someone who you don't really know at arm's length, it's assumed that you want to enter into a legal arrangement. However, that assumption does not apply when you give money to friends or family. So a commercial arrangement is not assumed in that situation, and so it's not assumed that you want some kind of legal arrangement in place. Hence, if you give money to friends or family, because you don't have that assumption, it's the opposite. In fact, the assumption then is that it's a gift. So if you don't want money that you're lending to friends or family to be a gift, then you actually need something in place to say that it's not a gift. So it is a gift unless you've got something in place that says it's not a gift. So you can have something fairly simple to say that it's not a gift. Something almost as straightforward as a single page document saying this is a loan, how much it is, who you're lending it to and who the money is from, and when it's supposed to be repaid. If there's interest, you can have interest in there. If we were doing it for someone, we do a short deed of loan. It's usually about 4 pages. It also has some information in there about what happens in default, and then interest may apply after if there is a default, or if the money is due and it's not paid, then interest applies. So that there are some penalties, because when we lend money to friends or family, that's often the hard bit, is trying to get repayment, and that's when a relationship can go wrong. And so if you've got some clear guidelines around what's to happen in that situation, at least you can point to the paper and say, well, this is what we actually agreed to. I'm not just making this up, or these are my rights and your obligations. So it can just clear up and remove a whole lot of emotional stuff that isn't unnecessary. The other thing we can do is, if you've already given a loan and you don't want something as complex as a deed of loan, we can do a simple 1-page document called an acknowledgement of debt, which is something that the person you gave money to would sign, saying that yes, they acknowledge that it was a loan and not in fact a gift. So again, the main reason we're doing this is to prevent an issue further down the line. Now, it may be your intention that the money you give is actually a gift in some situations. But if the situation changes further down the line, you may want to enforce that it's not a gift. So it's like a conditional gift. So the scenario may be that you're helping your 20-year-old adult child get into their first home, and you're giving them 50 or 100,000 to help with a deposit. It is a gift all going well. However, if they get into another relationship and that relationship breaks down, it's then not a gift because you don't want your 50 or 100,000 to be in their property pool for their family law separation. So, what you would do is have a loan agreement in place. You could have a caveat on the property, and in the loan agreement, you say, well, it's repayable on their sale of the property and not earlier, or it's repayable on your death. And then at the time that they sell the property, if their relationship's all going fine, you could, for example, transfer that loan to the new property and be like, well, no, that's fine. I don't need it repaid at this point. But so then it's up to you when you want to enforce it, if you do. Or if your relationship has turned sour with your child by that stage, then you would get your money back on the sale of the property and you'd be able to actually enforce that with a caveat rather than trying to take them to court later and prove that it was a gift when you've got no evidence that it was. So, trying to come to a solicitor after the fact is really hard, and that's why I want people to do it right in the first place. Because if someone comes to us and said, you know, I lent my child 200,000 10 years ago, and they've sold the property and they're refusing to give me back the money that I lent, and I'm like, well, where's your what paperwork do you have to say it's a loan? And they say, well, I've got none. There's nothing we can do. So do have something in place earlier rather than later. The same thing also applies between entities that you have. So we recently did the same things for someone who was buying something in their self-managed super fund. They didn't quite have enough money, so they were topping up the money that was needed. But for compliance with their self-managed super fund, they need paper trail. So there has to be a loan agreement in place between themselves and their self-managed super fund. Or you could do the same between yourself and your business if you're lending money to your business, or your trust, again, if you're buying something. So there you are, putting something simple in place at the time that you need it so that you save a dispute later or save even the fact that you can actually get the money back at all. Much better to prevention better than cure. That should almost be our motto for 2023. Prevention is better than a cure. So thank you for everyone who jumped on live. Actually, doing it on my laptop is better than doing it on my phone because I can see the comments coming through as they're there. So thank you for popping on live. Great to see you again this year, Anthony, because your comments are always very insightful and you're dedicated to jumping on live when we're here as well. As I said, I'll come live almost every week. The topic will be pre-announced on the weekend. If there is a topic you want me to cover, let me know. Otherwise, I'll catch you again next week for Join Jackie. See you then.